Hey, what's going on, guys? So I'm going to be reviewing The Flash season one. Now, The Flash season one has the complete opposite effect on me as Arrow season three had, and I love Flash. It's a great superhero show. They got pretty much everything right about this character. They didn't try to make it gritty and dark and stuff like that. They kept true to the character. Um, it's just a really fun and enjoyable and really, like I said, great superhero show. But as usual, it's not without its faults. And I think I'm going to talk about the faults first, and then I'll talk about the stuff that I think they did, just excellent on. So my biggest problem with the Flash season one has to do with the romance. The relationship between Barry and Iris, and Iris as a character in general. I want to talk about her and what they can do to improve a character and what I don't like about a character. Now, Iris, I think was well cast. Candace Patton does a good job for what she's given, but her character really is only there for a couple of purposes: love interest, and otherwise uh she's kind of generic, and that you know she's supposed to be what Lois Lane is to Superman, that kind of equal to the character, you know what I mean, in terms of what she can do, not powers and stuff like that, but in terms of character, personality, and her strengths, and what she can do with her investigative skills, and stuff like that. But ultimately, I just feel like Iris was a big misstep in this show. She falls in love with Eddie Thawne, and I have problems with his character too. But Eddie Thawne is her significant other throughout this first season. You know what I'm saying? So they're dating and stuff like that, and we don't really understand why she likes Eddie. I mean, because in the first episode, she goes, you know, Eddie Thawne is kind of a hothead. He kind of, has he marks down how many cases he can take down, when he's working with Joe and stuff like that. And we get the impression that, Eddie's going to be an antagonist to Barry. And he kind of is. But she likes him, and then she goes, you know, he may be kind of an asshole. She doesn't say that, but he may be kind of an asshole, but he's kind of hot. And then they start dating a couple of years later. And I really just didn't feel their relationship throughout the show, but I accepted it and moved on with it because I thought that they were going to be building to Eddie becoming the Reverse Flash in place of Wells. But ultimately, Eddie and Iris' relationship really just didn't jive well with me. So whenever they were on screen together, I was just kind of like, I don't really care about their relationship. And then the CW, as usual, they have to do love triangles. So we had Barry, who was kind of pining for Iris. He was afraid to show his feelings to Iris, which got kind of annoying because that's been done again. I've said this before about superheroes, but superheroes are really, really bad at doing romantic relationships, particularly in this medium, in movies too. But on television, it usually, well, in live action, they've done a pretty good job in animation wise, but in live action, the relationships almost always just suck. So, you know, I just really wasn't feeling that love triangle that they were pulling with Barry, Iris, and Eddie. And then, like I said, Barry pining for Iris, not wanting to show his feelings because he was afraid she wouldn't feel the same way, and yada yada yada. That's been done before. He didn't want to tell her um, his secret and none of that stuff, to protect her from bad guys and whatnot. And some people say, it kind of undermined Iris's character, but honestly, That's a legit me. I mean, it's a legit reason why superheroes do that, because yes, these people are dealing with dangerous individuals who have superpowers also, and they want to kill and want to cause bodily damage, and they want to do evil stuff. So, if I was in this position, I probably wouldn't tell her. You know, I would keep her naive because, like I said, he's dealing with dangerous people now. He's a superhero, so and some people and feminists they would go, oh well, this is misogynistic and this is patriarchy and stuff like that. But honestly, it is protecting her. Um, but with the way they did it, he might as well just go ahead and told her. I mean, just told her how he felt and just told her that he's the Flash and all that. I would have loved if they just from the beginning did something different and just had them dating instead of the whole we got to build up to them becoming um significant others. So that was annoying with her character and with Barry too. I didn't really care for that. And some I mean, and then they introduced Linda Park on here, who is a love interest to Wally West in the comics. And then Barry goes on a date with her, and we have um a four-way thing going where Iris clearly said in other episodes that she made it clear, I don't have these feelings for you, Barry. I don't have these romantic feelings for you. Once he told her how he felt. Um, and she's like, I'm with Eddie now, and I'm gonna stick with that. But then when Barry starts dating Linda, the writers and everybody, they start pulling this whole, well, she might have feelings for Barry, and she kind of gets kind of jealous when she sees him with Linda, and I'm like, and we go with this bullshit again. It just really undermines what her character could have been. So I didn't like that at all. I mean, and Linda Park was just there for um, to fill a quota. I mean, that's what she was there for. She didn't really serve a purpose other than, hey, let's have a temporary love interest for Barry, and I didn't care for it. I thought it was pretty shitty. So it's the CW. You got to deal with that stuff, and it gets kind of annoying. Um, excuse me here, but sorry about that. Sorry about that. But yeah, it gets kind of annoying, and we have to deal with that. And I would just much rather they just drop romantic subplots on the show for good, because when the romantic stuff isn't happening, I'm really enjoying the show. So that's my thoughts on Iris, and that's what I really didn't like about this season one of The Flash. I just thought that they did the stereotypical stuff with the love romantic stuff. I just thought it was a major. So I don't want to see any more of that. But I've already checked online, and they're going to introduce another love interest next season, and her name is Wendy. And I'm guessing she's going to be a new love interest for Barry, and not any of the other male characters. And I've heard that some of the actors too want to see more romance on here, and I'm just like, I'm not interested in the romance on this show. I just want to know more about the superhero stuff. The romance can take a back seat as far as I'm concerned. So that's that. Now let's get on with the stuff I did like. Grant Gustin does a fantastic job as Barry Allen. He is really, really good. He's a very good actor. I've never seen any of his other stuff. I know he starred in that show Glee. I never watched Glee, so I don't know about that. But he did his thing on here. You know, he's able to convey a lot of emotions through the character, and he feels real, and he's a much more likable character than Oliver from Arrow. He's much easier to latch onto. He's much more relatable and more likable, and he's just much more interesting to watch to me than Emil's take on Oliver. Um, so I really think Gustin knocked that out of the park. And I know when he was Barry in the Flash, everything just worked out. Some people were complaining that he wasn't buff enough and stuff like that, but honestly, that doesn't matter. As long as the dude can act and convince me, that's fine. And some people were mad that he didn't have the traditional blonde hair that Barry has and blue eyes and all that stuff. That doesn't really matter to me. I mean, changes are gonna happen, so what the fuck ever. That's not that important to me. But I mean, the costume is pretty decent. I mean, it's a beginner costume. I do wish it was brighter, and I do wish it was more like the comic. He had the yellow boots and things of that nature, and the symbol. It was more like this. Where we have the symbol is white and stuff like that, and I just wish it was more like the comic book costume. But the costume itself is not horrible. I'm happy that he actually got a costume because again, the thing about the show is it came in and it knew what it wanted to do. It jumped right into being a superhero show. I mean, I think it only took like 5 or 6 episodes for them to actually call him the Flash on the show, but they named the show the Flash. I thought they were gonna, do something really corny and lame, like name it the Scarlet Speedster, and we're gonna have like another Smallville like show. But it's not that at all. It's a straight up superhero show. He's in costume. He's doing a running. He's showing off his superpowers, and it's awesome. So yeah, I just really love Barry's character on here. He's really great to watch. I love his relationship with all of the characters besides the romantic stuff, like I said before. I mean, his relationship with Joe West is fantastic. Those two play off well on each other. They're just whenever they're on screen, I'm always happy to see that. It's a really good father son relationship. And then his biological father is in jail, and they're also this is the guy who played the original Flash in the '90s Flash TV show, and he's now playing Barry's dad, and I thought that was really good. Um, Although it would have been cool to see him play Jay Garrick because he does have that look for the Jay Garrick Flash, the original Flash, the Silver Age Flash. Um, you know, so that would have been nice to see. But he does a good job as playing Barry's dad, and it's good to see him on television again after so long. So that was really enjoyable to watch. I enjoyed the father son stuff. Um, as far as building up to the villains, I thought they did a fantastic job. Captain Cole was great. Um, they built up to Grodd, which I thought was cool. Grodd looked really good on here for television. I mean, they used CGI. I thought they were going to use practical and a mix of CGI, but all CGI looks pretty damn good, especially for television. Like the special effects on here are great. For television, it looks really, really good. I mean, I'm pretty sure there are some people who complain it looks too cheap and all that, but this is television and they have a budget to stick to, and it looks really, really good. I'm just really impressed by it. But yeah, the build up to the villains, like I said, Captain Cole was fun. Um, all some of the actors who played on Prison Break were back on here as supervillains. I thought that was neat. Heat Wave was fun. Like I said, Grodd, and of course, the Reverse Flash, Dr. Wells. I mean, um, Eobard Thawne. He was great. Every time he was on screen, very interesting. He was one of the best parts about the show. The Reverse Flash was awesome. I love how they did him. Just knocked it out of the park with this villain. He was killer, man. Every time he was on screen and he was doing something uh, mysterious or nefarious, and he was just really dark, and I enjoyed his character a lot. It's good to see that DC's finally starting to show their other villains besides Joker and Lex Luthor and stuff like that. So I love the Reverse Flash on here. I thought that actor also. I can't think. I can't think of his name right now, but he does a really good job of playing um, the Reverse Flash. It was just I really like how they played that off. It was really interesting to watch. Although I am a little bit disappointed how he was defeated. I would like to see more of him because like I said, I just think he was a really good asset to the show, and it was really fun to see his interaction with the other characters, and especially his rivalry with Barry. They did a good job with that. So there's that. And I mean, because with the Flash, it's all about time travel, and it can get kind of confusing. I thought they did a good job with time travel in here, with developing Barry's powers. Let me talk about that. They did a good job with developing his powers. Um, building up to the different type of powers he can have. You know, he can run up walls. He can phase through objects. He can speed read. Um, and he can heal really fast and things of that nature. He needs a lot of food intake to be able to channel all that energy going through his body, because it's everything is sped up for him now. So he has to have a lot of food to eat, and he's not invincible, So he has good villains to face. Some people were saying that he's too overpowered. Not to me. I mean, like I said, Reverse Flash gave him a run for his money. Grodd gave him a run for his money. Captain Cold did. And some of the other like really low key villains, they really stood out as well, and they were fun to watch. So I really like the development of the powers on here for Barry, and showing what he can do and why his powers are so cool. The Speed Force and whatnot, that was all really just awesome. The soundtrack on here, the music is really good. Excuse me. This is one of those shows I wish had an opening montage, like with music, not like him going, I am Barry Allen, the Flash, and stuff like that. That's cool, but I would like to see like an opening theme to it. So, I mean, that was cool. And the crossover with Arrow was pretty good. I mean, that was the best part about Arrow. But the crossover was really neat. Emil and Gustin actually play out well for each other as well. I mean, they play off well together. So the Flash and Arrow crossover were definitely fun. And despite the fact that I'm not really keen on Arrow, I think it's a really piss poor show right now. I'm actually looking forward to seeing them interact more. So that was pretty cool. Um, and of course, Felicity was thrown in our face again. You know, she showed up and Barry kissed her, and I didn't really care for that. So I'm not gonna talk about that too much. I just thought that was garbage. Um, whatever. So I mean, it's just a fantastic show. I really don't have much else to say. It's really, really good. I think the way the season ended was pretty cool. Some people had problems with it because it ended on a cliffhanger, but I like the way it ended. It didn't, everything wasn't tied up in a nice, neat bow. There's still a lot of questions that need to be answered, and more questions were raised. So I'm hoping that in season two, they can keep up with making this show enjoyable and not making it shit. I'm really nervous for season two. I really hope that it doesn't become victim to love triangles again, and with these new love interests being introduced, I really hope that they take into consideration that you know um, what worked in the first season, why it's getting so much praise, and continue with that. Some people have said that the dialogue is too cheesy and stuff like that. For me, it works because of the character. The Flash is an upbeat, flamboyant character. He's not supposed to be dark and gritty. And like I said before, he's supposed to be like that. And the dialogue reflects that. Um, it reflects the overall tone of the show. And it just feels like a really cool, fun superhero show. I mean, I can't stress that enough. So I don't have a problem with the dialogue in here. It's not really cheesy or anything like that for me. I mean, it is cheesy, but it works within this show. This show definitely takes a lot of inspiration from um, Spider-Man. I mean, if Gustin wasn't playing Barry in the show, he would make a perfect Peter Parker, better than the other guy they got to play him in the recent reboots. I think he would have killed it as Peter, but he does a good job, like I said, as Barry, and um, you know, I'm really looking forward to season 2, but like I said, I'm also really nervous. So the Flash season 1 was really good. I can't wait to wait. I can't wait till it hits Blu-ray. Definitely gonna buy the Blu-ray disc and see special features and all that. And I'm uh, looking forward to seeing where this TV verse goes. I mean, because they're doing a Flash movie now, and I'm hearing that that guy is gonna be playing Barry Allen too. So that's gonna be weird. But this is my Flash. I mean, Gustin is my Flash right now. He's my Barry Allen. The movie verse can, I don't know, take a step back. It can take us. I'm not really interested in that right now. I'm more interested in the show and the TV universe of DC right now, as far as that, as far as the comparing the shows to the movies. I'm just more interested in the shows right now because, well, the Flash is just on fire as far as getting this universe off its feet. So I'm gonna give it a solid 9 out of 10. I mean, very few things I didn't like about it, and I highly recommend it. And Bloody Days, Gory Nights. I'll catch you guys whenever I come back. I'm out.